All right, so we're going to use an approach on this question that I typically use when we have variables in the answer choices, which we do here. So if you see a problem-solving question and you see variables in your answer choices, it's typically best to choose numbers. So I'm going to set x equal to 1, and that means x minus 1 is going to be equal to 0, since the 1 minus 1 would equal 0. Okay, and I'm really asking for which of these functions is f of 1, which is f of x, equal to f of 0, which is f of 1 minus x in the numbers we chose. Looking at answer choice A, f of x equals 1 minus x. Well, when we have a function like this, f of x equals 1 minus x, whatever is in the parentheses is going in place of x in this equation. And we could change this up, and if you need help with functions, definitely check out our other videos on functions. But we're going to just breeze through this one, and this one is a little simpler than it could be. We simply are replacing whatever goes in the brackets, for example, 1 or 0, in place of the variable x in the equation. So we have 1 minus 1, and we have 1 minus 0. And obviously, these give us two different answers. And so these do not check out, and this is not going to be the solution for which f of x equals f of 1 minus x. Answer choice B is 1 minus x squared, which is going to be 1 minus 1 squared, which is just 1 minus 1 is 0, and 1 minus 0 squared, which is 1 minus 0, which equals 1. Don't get confused. 0 squared is still 0. Any number to the 0 power is equal to 1, but that's a completely different rule. So these two are obviously not the same, which brings us to answer choice C. X squared minus 1 minus x, all of that squared. So if I go 1 squared minus 1 squared, what I get is a 0 squared here, which is 0, and I get 1 minus 0 is 1. On the other hand, I have 0 minus 1 minus 0 squared, which is 0 minus 1 squared, and this becomes negative 1. So again, we do not tie out. Looking at answer choice D, x squared, which is 1 squared, times 1 minus 1 squared, well, this is 0. And no matter what, 0 squared times whatever is going to be 0, so that's definitely 0. And then on the right-hand side, we have 0 squared times 1 minus 0 squared. And again, we're going to wipe out our 1 squared here because we're multiplying by 0, and we get 0. These two did tie out. This is looking like a potential answer. Now, when you plug numbers, you're not always guaranteed to get just one of these as solving for an equivalent solution. It's possible that if you chose the wrong numbers or if you chose unlucky numbers, you would actually get more than one answer choice for which the answer checked out with each other, and both the solutions were equivalent, both the functions were equivalent with different inputs. But it's really good to just pick easy numbers that you know will work, and it should at least get you down to a 50-50 in terms of what answer choices have the right solution. And from there, you could then pick a second set of numbers if you needed. I like to typically pick numbers that are intelligent to work with to make things easy for myself, even if they're overly simple at first. So looking at answer choice E, this is going to be 1 over 1 minus 1, which is 1 over 0, which is undefined. And the other answer choice is going to be 0 over 1 minus 0, which is 0, which is a lot different than undefined. So you can't divide by 0, but you can have 0 on top of a fraction and divide by anything you want, and you'll come up with 0. So these are not tying out, and that means only answer choice D worked, which means only answer choice D could be our answer, and that is our solution. So when you see variables in the answer choices, try to pick smart numbers, plug them in. It'll be faster. It's a much more efficient use of your time, and it's also easier to see the math unfold and not get lost. I definitely am an advocate of being organized and setting up a grid like this. And that is it for this question.